Welcome back to another edition of the Pitch Putt Puff podcast. My name is Roger, aka RGB. Appreciate everybody tuning in this evening. We're going to stay in the cannabis industry this evening, but before we get into it, I just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, 420 Bliss, located at 740 Hoosick Road in Troy, New York. But tonight we're going down to Texas, Midland, Texas, with the owners of Rogue Shop, Charmaine and Richard. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, Roger. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. I really appreciate your time. So why don't you guys tell us a little bit about yourselves and what the Rogue Shop's all about?
I see him looking side-eyeing me. He doesn't like to talk on the camera.
So. That's why I like to live a second ago.
You're going to hear my voice a lot, so sorry about that, guys.
That's all right.
Man, so Rogue Shop, like we are just a super small mom and pop thing. We have a website. We have a brick and mortar in Wisconsin, Eau Claire, Wisconsin. We keep it pretty small just because quality is really important to us. Like when all this cannabis stuff started blowing up back in 2018, we saw just like a huge influx of product. And we noticed that a lot of product was like kind of labeled weird or, there's just a lot of the questionable quality on the market, and there's some great stuff out there. So like definitely not talking trash about all this stuff, but we saw like a kind of a place in the market for the handcrafted small batch stuff. So we took that because we really like to be super hands-on. So like a lot of our products we make ourselves in our commercial kitchen back in Wisconsin. So we saw that the market was going to get too big too fast if we didn't like jump in and kind of control things a little bit. And so it's still just us. It's Richard and I. We run everything. We don't have like a like any other people. We just have two guys, Nick and Anthony, who we love very much. They've been part of the Rogue family for several years. And they hold down the store for us. And then we kind of do our thing here in Texas, kind of drum up business and make us some money to infuse back into the thing. So we keep it very close to home. Anything else?
Well, also, we really enjoyed the products, not necessarily the psychoactive products at the beginning, so we didn't really use cannabis. Mm-hmm. I'm a veteran, disabled veteran. I have a lot of pain. I have I have Hashimoto's disease, which is an autoimmune disease. So I have like chronic pain, all this kind of stuff. And it helps me sleep. It took away a lot of my chronic pain. So once we saw that the product actually worked, because we went to a CBD store that was local to us and we saw that it worked, and we were like, dang, like this stuff right here is like legit, because we started seeing, dispensary after dispensary pop up, the CBD stores, and we were like, what is this? So actually just out of curiosity, we gave it a shot, and look at us now. Like we have our own store, manufacturing, a website that's doing really good. We're able to ship nationwide to pretty much any state. We don't have all the rules and regulations that the cannabis marijuana market has in states like New York and Michigan, California, Colorado. We don't have all the bullshit taxes. We don't have the limitations on the milligram dosage. Like New York has 10 milligrams max you can get.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about. Yeah,
all the way up to 275 milligrams for people who are daily users that need that much. And not even daily users. There's people who try cannabis and it doesn't do anything for them. The edibles don't do anything for them unless it's a higher dosage, because their body just doesn't absorb it as well. So, the government tries to put everybody in this little box, and since we don't have those regulations, we went way high, and we're quite known for having like high potency products.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
That's it. Because like we were just talking about, like if I take gummies, for me to go to a dispensary and to get a good solid buzz off of gummies, I would probably have to take 100 milligrams or so to really just get that buzz going, especially if it's a gummy. It doesn't really kick in for a long time anyway. Chocolate's a little bit different for whatever reason. But it's like
fat soluble chocolate, it's already in fat, so it dissolves better inside our bodies.
And I noticed too, when I take a gummy, I always wake up and I still feel like I'm stoned, but I didn't feel stoned like that when I went to bed. I'm more like groggy and have a harder time getting up and really getting the day going. So
that usually means you had too much, but it's like you took too much too late, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
Sometimes you take it and it like me and him, I'm always like, he'll go anytime. And I'm like, nah, it's too late. Like, it's too late. Like, I don't have time to like enjoy myself. And,
Right.
then I take it anyway. I end up falling asleep. And then I wake up groggy because I didn't really like let the buzz run its course, if that makes
Yep.
sense.
Absolutely.
I always tell my clients, like, when you wake up feeling groggy, like dial it back a few milligrams because it usually means you had too much, or you just didn't drink enough water, because you can get a hangover of sorts if you're dehydrated.
Gotcha.
So that might be why you're having that issue.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's probably it too, because I usually do take them a little bit later in the night opposed to, after dinner.
Yeah, you gotta like preemptively jump on that, like when you're driving home from work, like pop it that way. By the time you start feeling it, an hour or 2 hours later, you're right where you want to be, where you can enjoy yourself and relax, and hopefully dinner's done and all the other chores.
With edibles, you just gotta, like she said, you just have to know the edible. You have to know what dosage you need, and you have to know when and how to take it. Once you get that lined out, I mean, it lasts longer. I love it. I don't even smoke it at all, like, just because I like the edibles more. The edibles last longer. They help me sleep throughout the night, stuff like that. So it's just, get it lined out and you'll be good to go.
And there's definitely like edible people and smoky people too. So like some people, like for me, I could like go through an entire pen and just not get a buzz. So I really like, when we were with Dero in the recording studio a couple weeks ago, like everybody's passing around the pen. Like I just didn't even feel anything by the end of the night. And my husband was like, "Are you sure you want more? Are you sure you want more?" And I'm like, "Yes, I don't feel anything yet. I still don't feel anything." So every person is different. You kind of have to find what works for you. And usually people who prefer smoking, they don't always have the best experience with edibles and vice versa.
And you guys have the option for people who prefer smoking too as well.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. You can do tinctures, you can do gummies, you can do flower, vapes. We have all the things because it really is, each product is good for different things. And so we always kind of say like, hey, if you want this situation, then you're going to want a vape. If you want this situation, flower. If you want that, like sleep, almost always I recommend a gummy, just because it lasts like 8 to 12 hours in your system. So a lot of my people who are coming to me haven't slept in like 4 years. They need a good 12 hours, just knocked out, so they can rejuvenate and feel awesome the next day.
Yeah, I recently had a local grower on, and I never used CBD or anything like that before. And my back, I do kind of physical labor for work. And my back was bothering me, and he gave me some of this cream, and I was like, oh, let's see what happens. And I rubbed it on there, and I was going about my day at work. And like normally the time of day where it starts to hurt, I'm like, wow, I'm feeling good still. And like, it was a busy day that I was having. I was like, all right. So next day I tested it again. Same thing, put it on the back, and everything was smooth. And I've pretty much been using it for like the past 2 weeks now.
That's awesome.
I love it.
People, that's kind of like our favorite part of the job, is just hearing all the ways that people use the product, and it's like so successful. And a lot of people don't know there's all these other ways you can use it. Like the cream that you're using, I don't know like the ingredients, but like our pain cream you can use it all over your body. You can use it on your face if you have like psoriasis or eczema, or I have a customer who uses it for like burns and bruises, and she actually like has this disease where like pretty much if you touch her, she bruises and it looks like somebody beat her up. So she puts it on, the bruises, and she said it reduces the time that it takes for it to go away by like, she'd say it usually take like 3 weeks, and now it takes like a couple of days. So just hang on to that little bottle, because it probably does even more than you think it does.
Yeah, I love it. I'm gonna keep it. I'm probably gonna grab a couple more. I'm gonna give one. My mother was asking about it. She's been using it. My mother's old school, so she looks at like cannabis and stuff like that. She looks at it like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? I can't believe it. Like my mom with the pitch putt and puff, she's like, I can't believe you're doing this. I can't believe it. I'm like, Mom, that's who I am. Like I'm not gonna hide it. Whatever. But she started using CBD, and she's so amazed by how it works. And she's like, what can you now? All of a sudden, she's like, oh, can you give me samples of stuff and this and that? So I'm like, oh, now you're on board.
My mom like thinks that we're drug dealers. So
yeah, exactly. Like, same thing.
I'm like, well, we're licensed drug dealers, so I don't know if that counts.
No different than a doctor.
So what are some of the most recent projects you guys have been working on? I've seen some things on the Instagram, pretty exciting things.
Yes. So we got hooked up with Dero. He's a triple platinum recording rap artist. Here in
Nice.
Texas, a lot of people know him because he's Mr. Dallas. He's a big guy in that community. This is his 15th anniversary of his hit Ice Cream Paint Job. So as we started having conversations with him, we wanted him to write a song for us because, you know, it's in the cannabis field. It's really hard to find support, to find people who, you know, kind of look at it the same way you do. So when we found out, you know, what an enthusiast he was, we were really excited to work with him. And then as we started working on the song, you know, all these other ideas started coming out. He's like, man, you know, I've always wanted to have my own strain. And we're like, well, you know, we're growers, so I mean, we can make that happen. And you know, it just kind of went from there. So March 22nd, not only is Ice Cream Paint Job Part 2 coming out, we're also going to be helping Daroe release his strain Ice Cream Paint Job, and it's going to be phenomenal. And it's THCA flower, so it's going to be able to be shipped pretty much nationwide. So we don't have the same limits as we do in a legal state. And we actually just shot the video for that like 2 days ago.
Nice.
So super exciting experience.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And the coolest thing is it's a weed mix.
That's great. Now explain to me a little bit, because like I don't really understand like the THC9 and the THCA and all that kind of stuff. Can you explain that a little bit to me and the listeners?
I'm really good at explaining that.
Okay, so you got lots of different types of THCs, right? There's no THC by itself. People just say that because that's what they've always heard. So you got THC Delta 9, which is the cannabinoid that's primarily found in marijuana.
That's the psychoactive compound.
THC Delta 8, you have THC Delta 10. Those are primarily found in hemp, okay? Then you also have THCV, that is not psychoactive at all. Actually, for some people, they say it gives them energy. And then you got THCA. So THCA is tetrahydrocannabinol acid. So the THCA is the exact same thing as marijuana. It's other than the fact that it is the precursor to Delta 9, which is what makes something marijuana or not. So basically what we do is we pull it before it turns into Delta 9. So whenever you go to smoke THCA, which is sold in dispensaries in California, Colorado, all this kind of stuff, it's actually like a premium type of flower. You basically light it and it turns into Delta 9 into your system. So it is the exact same thing as marijuana, except right now we have a really nice little loophole to where we can sell it, and it's considered hemp, because the law of the land from the 2018 Farm Bill is anything that is higher than 0.3% total THC Delta 9 is considered marijuana. So the THCA doesn't have any Delta 9 in it because it hasn't turned to Delta 9 yet.
Gotcha.
So it's basically the real deal. We grow it indoor. It's amazing. And Daroe, he's real big into cannabis. So he was like, look, before we deal with each other, like, I need to try this product out. And we're like, absolutely. Like, I don't want you trying my product unless I don't want you repping my brand unless you love it like we do.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So there's other people we can always go out and reach out to other people. But Daroe loved the flower so much, he's like, let's do this. Like, let's strain, like, this represents me. This is what I want to do. So Daroe got really excited, and man, he's been working like tirelessly to get this strain going.
Speak of the devil. Do you need to take that?
That's awesome. That's funny. Perfect timing.
Daroe, we're just talking about you. You hear us or what?
Daroe, welcome to the Pitch Puff podcast, man.
We're on a podcast right now talking about you. I got you on speakerphone.
And we're saying how you never take a break. And here it is, 9:00, and he's just working away.
That's awesome.
Right now, man, I'm thinking about the pop-ups and everything, and I'm working. We could go crazy with it, but yeah, I was just checking out. Let's have that podcast when you get done. Hit, because I took a day to kind of just soak everything in, and I definitely want y'all to come out so we can figure out when we can hit some of these stores up in Dallas and start putting together everything else. But I'm gonna let y'all finish that podcast though, because it seems like y'all.
Appreciate the drop in, man.
Yeah, nah, for sure. But yeah, just hit me when you're done.
All right,
we will.
Have
Thanks,
a good one.
Daroe.
All right.
Bye. That wasn't planned.
Yeah, that's great. That was perfect. That was literally like on cue. That was awesome.
Yeah,
That's
he's just been,
Ice Cream Paint Job himself.
That's what's exciting about something like that. What you guys are doing is the fact that you guys are so excited about it, and your partnership with who you're working with is just as excited. So it makes that much easier, just locking in and doing what you guys are doing. Like you said, it's 9 o'clock at night there, and he's still ready to go. Like, night's not over. Let's figure out what we're doing next.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
All of our best stuff takes
and
place
the coolest
at night.
part about us is, like, you know, we want to work with people that we like too, and I love Duro. I mean, he's awesome person,
Really
awesome
cool dude.
Human, takes care of his people, his family, his girl Bianca, like, just a good dude.
Right.
And you know, when he started making the song, I was a little nervous. I was like, man, I hope hope he doesn't make a bad song or something like that. Like, I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
Man, I went to the studio about a month ago or so, and man, let me tell you, Duro's new music is coming out is so fire, man. Like, it's gonna be a hit. It's really good. So I'm just excited to work with Duro, as I think Duro is excited working with us. So
Yeah,
it's
nice.
it's always good when everybody's kind of like, you know, like
Yeah.
this in a relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Locked in. Yep, absolutely. Now, how did you guys come up with the idea? Like, what sparked you to really get the idea? Like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna get ice cream. We want to go this route. Like, how did you really collab with him in particular?
Well, we started with Mercy, you know, because Mercy is like the connector of everybody.
Yeah.
Actually, so even further back, I don't know if you know Law Nation. He's an awesome Dallas guy. And so he does a lot of stuff with the Dallas Cowboys. We've been watching his show. We were big fans. So we reached out to him to try to work on sponsorship with him. He connected us with Mercy.
Okay.
And then we were talking to Mercy, and she's like, well, what do you guys want to do? And we just, you know, spitballing stuff. And then we're just like, oh, it'd be so cool if we had a song. And she's like, oh, well, I know a guy.
Yep.
So, you know, everybody always knows a guy.
Yeah, right.
We're like, whatever. Okay, that'd be great. Whatever. So then, like, the next day at 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night, Duro calls Richard's phone, and he's like, this is Duro. We're like, shut up. No way. We have Duro's cell phone number, you know, just crazy fangirling or whatever. And then so it started off just talking about song. He's like, well, what do you want? Like, he's so, what's the word? He like does a lot of research. He like looked all over our webpage. He like interviewed us, asked us about our story and like what we love about everything. What do we want in the song? And it just started like that. And then, you know, we're like, oh, you know, you should try some of our stuff. And, you know, so we got him some stuff to try. And then after he smoked that, he was like, dude, this is fire. Like, let's do some stuff together. Let's work together. And it was actually his job, his idea to release the Ice Cream Paint Job remix, which I felt was like a pretty big honor to be like associated with.
Sure.
You know, something that has brought him so much success. So really, we just grew the flower and it just took off from there. And like Duro is just pushing this full steam ahead. He works tirelessly, like making appearances and announcements and setting up podcasts. And I mean, we just kind of follow into what Duro tells us. And he's been really generous in including us in a lot of it. Because a lot of times we've worked with people and we're just like their dirty little secret. They don't want anybody to know who we are, or, you know, like, oh, you can't tell anybody you're working with me. And Duro's like the complete opposite. He gives everybody credit where it's due, from his directors to his cast, his crew, his, you know, DJs that he works with, everybody. He's just really a generous person. And so never thought I'd be doing this at my age, but we're down for whatever Duro has for us. So
that's awesome. And it's so cool, like really the loophole you guys have to, it just opens up the floodgates for you so much more. And the more exposure you get, like the fact that I'm in upstate New York, you guys are in Texas, but you can still ship the product to people up here is, you know, like I said, I have people in Texas who listen, California who listen. So if you can ship it all over to those states as well, I mean, that's really a big thing, to the access you have compared to other companies that are just locally based and you're stuck locally where you can't go online and do something, or you can only get from New York farmers or California farmers or whatever the restrictions may be. That's
where Duro made a really smart decision to utilize the THCA, because we could have grown him something like in Oregon, and then it would have just been straight Delta-9 THC, but that would have limited him to that state. So by opting to go with the THCA, not only are you getting a really like very high quality product, because like my husband mentioned, a lot of times THCA is going to be considered a premium product in a dispensary, but that is just like the par for the course for what Duro is going to be dispensing. So always going to be the top quality flower. And he actually went up to Wisconsin to the store last week with Richard to visit and kind of see the whole process of where everything's grown. I think he took some footage of that, and so he's got a lot of stuff he's going to be releasing with all the information, and really everybody's gonna be able to follow it from from grow to bottle, and people will be able to see where their product comes from, which is kind of not always the case anymore. You just
not at all.
go into a dispensary, and I mean, there's some really great dispensaries and they really do their homework and they have all the information for you. And then there's some that are, a little bit questionable. You're like, how these guys get a dispensary license?
And that's the thing, like, so upstate New York, it's not as bad as in like New York City. So New York City has a lot of the pop-up shops where they're the legals shops and they got whatever, who knows what's there, pre-rolls of this, that, they say it's tincture. You don't know what you're getting. It's just a pop-up. It gets rated at 8 a.m. It's back open by noon, but then you have the legit ones where, at least you're getting legit stuff. Up here, it's not an issue, but down there, I mean, I was down there in December and I seen a shop literally get rated at 9 a.m. and by 1:30, 2 o'clock, it was back open, up and running.
That would be like devastating to us. I mean, maybe because it's just us, but our children are really involved in our business as well. And so like we try to make sure that we're super above board just because this is the legacy that we want to leave our children one day. And B, I don't want to get in trouble and have like CPS come get my kids or something because I'm selling, unlicensed product or something like that. But we have a relationship with all of our customers. I mean, like they call us for our birthdays and we call them for their birthdays, and they come in the store and sit with us and tell us all about their life and their stories. And so we couldn't have that if we were just like that kind of a business where we just pop up and sell all kinds of crap and then leave. Or we want to have a long-term relationship with these people.
The old school mentality, the way it used to be back in the day. And that goes a long way with people. And I think that's starting to be forgotten in today's society, unfortunately.
And it's really tough.
Getting like good customer service nowadays is like,
it's impossible.
And it's like, so that's why with our website and everything, we even have a live chat that either myself or Charmaine most of the time will answer if we can. If not, then just leave a message. But we have a live chat that we answer. No bots, no people from other countries. Barely. So I'm just me and we spend a lot of time on that damn thing. People come on there, they're asking all kind of questions. People have problems. People need to they want to air out their information, and there's a lot of information. Sometimes we got to get to treat people properly. You know what I mean? Like there's people who are taking medications, and so I got questions about that. And then how does it work with this? And what's the difference between this and that? Sometimes we'll be on there for an hour with one customer sometimes. So,
but I feel like in the end, it's worth it just because like I can't tell you how many customers I have who are like, oh, well, I don't mess with that stuff. Well, why? Well, I had a bad experience. Well, what happened? And it's almost always like, somebody's like, here, take this 100 milligram edible and go have a good time. Well, you don't start with 100 milligrams. Like nobody should do that. So I'd rather like get you in one product that works rather than you just come to my website and buy like 4 things and they all suck because you didn't get the right stuff and you're never going to come back.
Or some people get stuff that doesn't even have any THC in it. They're expecting you to feel the high and they don't have. So they're like, this stuff doesn't work. I'm like, our stuff works. I guarantee it. I know the tippity top people who consume like a lot have been, humbled by some of our products just because, they weren't expecting the amount of milligram that we're allowed to sell, whereas, you're not able to sell in legal states or recreational states, as you call it. So,
yeah.
That's so interesting. I literally in these past 25 minutes, I learned so much that I did not know, especially being a stoner like myself, that I just didn't know, especially the fact that it just pulling the plant that much earlier makes that much of a difference.
Oh, definitely. Every week that it stays in the ground past maturity, it's going up and up and up and up in Delta 9. So it's really like a huge gamble to be a grower because it's like you look and you're like, it's ready, it's not ready. Is it ready? It's not ready. I'm not sure, and it's like one day makes all the difference between whether it was ready or not. And and
you also finish it differently. So like with traditional THC, you keep it as long as you can to get the highest percentage and all this kind of stuff. Whereas with THC, you're gonna put the air conditioners on for the last 2 weeks of its life cycle because the heat turns it to Delta 9. Mm-hmm. So we try to keep it frigid in there for the last 2 weeks to get THC up and not the THCA up and not the THC Delta 9. So It's totally different. It's totally different ball game. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know, it keeps the terpenes better and all that kind of stuff. So I
And now
actually prefer the Delta THC A over the THC regular marijuana THC Delta 9.
Now, do you have to test all the products before you like send it out and package it and all that? Obviously, to make sure it's not to that level.
Yeah, every batch.
Every year. Yeah, every year.
Wow.
Every batch you make and every year. So if you have something that's over a year, you have to retest it. Like say if I have a tincture or something that sits on the shelf for a year, I have to retest it at the end of the year, the whole batch. Or
Which wouldn't happen with us.
Which doesn't happen with us.
We make everything to order, but
Okay, smart. That's smart though, because you're saving so much inventory and everything else, and a headache too.
you want it to be like the ultimate potency. So like if I make it fresh when you order, like let's say you get on, you order something tonight and I make it for you tomorrow, like it's going to be fresh and it's going to taste better and it's going to be more effective than if I made a big batch. Like a lot of people, you know, they'll have it made in a lab or something like that. And they make thousands and thousands and thousands of them. And if they don't sell them all, well, you might have a tincture that's 2 years old.
Yeah. So most CBD companies that you're going to deal with, they order their stuff from a manufacturer. Okay. So this manufacturer is going to go and they're going to manufacture millions of these things. Right. And then they're going to go and they're going to label it for somebody and they're going to send it off. Right. 10,000 to this guy, 1,000 here, 200 here. So basically, these people are just getting something that's made in some kind of factory with Chinese equipment that's pumping this shit out. And, you know, they're literally just pumping them out, pop, 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 dun, 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 seal them. You know, they got all these machines, all this bull crap. That's not us. You know what I mean? We're small. We're literally pouring this by hand. And, you know, we have our little things that we've helped to speed it up and all that kind of stuff. But we're making it, you know, by hand, taking longer to do it, but doing it.
We put the love in there.
Way.
So
grandma, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, that's what I really like about you guys is that you're old school about how you operate and you're hands-on with everything you do. Like there's, like you said, if someone needs something, you guys are the ones answering the questions. You got two guys helping you, but such a big process of what you guys are doing. I admire that. And that's the shout out to you guys for that. It doesn't go like that's a lot of work. Like people don't realize how much work actually goes into stuff like that. I think it's just, oh yeah, you're just doing this, or some manufacturer doing it, but behind the scenes, it's when it's hands-on by the owners.
They think that we're like some big corporation, and so like when something's not happening fast enough, like sometimes a customer will order something, and then like the next day they're like, "Well, why isn't my order shipped?" They're like, "Because I'm making it like right now. Like, I'm out of bath salts, so I had to make more, and it's a process, you know." So yeah, people have to bear with us sometimes. You know, that's why we may not answer the chat. Like maybe I'm at my kid's like, you know, piano recital, or, you know, like it's real people. Like nothing that we have is made by machines, or except for like the gummies are made in a GMP certified lab, but they're all custom formulated by us. You know, we work with the chemist, and we pick like every ingredient, like the sweeteners, because we don't use any artificial sweeteners. We don't use any artificial dyes. You know, everything. I use a lot of herbs. I like to have herbs infused with our products, just because I feel like a lot of times, like for example, like chamomile is very relaxing. So we like to put that in something that's meant for sleep, or, you know, sage or turmeric for something that's meant for daytime anti-inflammatory, anxiety kind of thing. So each one of our gummies is a little bit different. And we pick each and every ingredient in there. Because again, if I'm going to eat it, and I'm going to give it to, you know, the people that I love and care about, like it has to be top notch. And I'm not going to sell something that I don't believe in, that I can't be passionate about.
We put vitamins in there too. And just to let y'all know, Charmaine does have a degree from Cornell in herbalism. So she like knows all. Okay.
It's embarrassing me. I don't
those, like. She knows all the herbs.
So you guys spend a little time in New York then, huh?
Not just the bud, not just the cannabis, but she knows everything.
You guys spent some time in New York then, huh? Because Cornell's in New York.
No, it's an online degree. I did.
Okay.
I was doing that while I was running the store.
Gotcha.
The first year, it was me and another guy, Nick, running the store just by ourselves. So like if one person's sick, that means the other person's there all by themselves and so on. It was just me and him the whole first year of the store. And actually really like a year and a half, just me and Nick held the whole store down. So I was doing school there. My kids are in the back making grilled cheese in the kitchen. Like we were living at the store.
That's it. That's how you got to start, though. Just put the grind in. That's how it happens.
Yeah, everybody in our company is a CBD licensed consultant. They all go through the training of learning everything about cannabis. It's actually a pretty difficult course, wouldn't you say? I thought it was a lot more
I mean,
difficult than I thought it would be.
Cannabis is really complex. I think, you know, as users, we just really enjoy everything that has to do with it. But then when you actually start learning the science and the chemistry behind everything, it's pretty impressive, and it's very complex. But honestly, it's made me more of a believer. I've become way more passionate about cannabis now than I was 5 years ago when we first started, because now I see how and why it's so effective. And that's a whole nother podcast about talking about our systems and all that stuff. But it's really, it's an incredible plant, and everything we do is really just like a labor of love. Because obviously doing things the way we do them, we're not ever going to get rich because we're not willing to put out crappy products and charge crazy prices. It's always going to be affordable because this is medicine for people. And if I price it too high, then I have like my older folks on fixed incomes who really love my topicals. They can't afford it if I make it too expensive. So Richard and I have a day job. That's why we're here in Midland. So that job pays the bills, and then this pays, I don't know, pays it forward, you know, takes care of people.
That's why you'll be successful though, because you're not in it for the money. You're in it for the people. And that's why, like I said from a little while ago, just the way you guys operate is the reason you're going to be successful. No doubt about it. And
that's why to all your fans out there, like, know that, you know, people always want to complain about giant corporations, but they want, just because it's 5-10% cheaper, they want to go to those corporations and they have the worst service, worst customer service, can't get people on the phone, can't get people that don't speak our language on the phone. You know what I mean? Can't understand them. When you're in the store, people are rude, all this kind of stuff. Like, so when you're supporting companies, I'm not saying you have to support us, but when you're supporting your local companies, like, that's what you're supporting, is better customer service and help us be able to compete with those people, you know, because like those companies have millions and millions of dollars just for marketing, you know what I mean? Just that alone. So they're in front of people's faces, you know, whether they're good or they're not, they're in front of people's faces, they're getting bought because of that. So
right. That's the crazy thing, because like I see that too. Like I work in I work for a beer distributor, so I'm in grocery stores and stuff all the time, and just seeing like the way people act. Like there'll be an old woman who can't reach something on the shelf, and there'll be like a teenage kid or early 20s, and he'll just walk right by him. Where I'll see it from a mile away, and I'll have to go like walk over and grab this can for this lady. It's like, buddy, you've seen it. Just like out of natural reaction would be something where I would just reach up and do it. Yeah. And just the way people are, like we were talking earlier with the theft. I mean, people walking out the doors with shopping carts full of stuff, and they can't do nothing about it. It's just, it's insane. And like,
I saw this meme this morning, and it was like a cat driving a car, and it was like, this is how I drive out of Walmart, knowing that I bought a 80-inch TV. And it was the cost of cucumbers. So I never thought about doing this. Now I'm seeing these people scanning like a Kool-Aid packet and buying a TV. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, but then they want to see a receipt, but they don't want to do the work to scan it out. I was actually just at Walmart earlier today, and there was a line of people waiting to get their receipt checked. Well, I just scanned myself out, walked through the register, did my own shopping. If you want to see my receipt so bad, you can come to the register and scan my items.
That's right.
I didn't get paid to do this, so I walked out. I have a 6-year-old, and she's with me. She goes, "Dad, how come you didn't wait?" I said, "Because I don't have time to do his job and wait for him to make sure I did his job right. I got stuff to do. I'm out of here."
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
He's like, "Come on, let's go. We're not waiting in this line. Like, we already did it." And we're honest people. I like I said, the thought never occurred to me to do that, but I can understand. You know, thank goodness we have the ability to pay for a TV if we needed one. I can understand why people might do that. And, you know, honestly, at the end of the day, it's kind of shame on them. You know, it'd be nice if they had made these jobs for people instead of machines. Yeah. You know, these people wouldn't be stealing if they had a job.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Well, guys, listen, I really appreciate your time. This was great. I learned so much. I hope my listeners learned quite a bit. Now, where can they find you guys and your products? What's the best places to reach you guys?
www.rogueshop.com. That's ROGUESHOP.com. So remember, it's Rogue, not Rouge.
Yeah, Rogue. Yeah.
Always autocorrect.
Rouge, ROU. No, it's ROGUE.
Yeah. Because I did that the first time I typed it in. I was going to search you guys, and I was like, I'm not doing this right. And I went back and did it. Yeah. I made that same mistake myself.
Yeah,
but make sure, and everybody got to come to the website on the 22nd, because that's when DeRose new flower drops, and everybody's going to want a piece of it, because I already know it's going to sell out like really fast. It's
Yeah, it sounds like it. I mean, the video I seen from was it maybe last week or a week before? You guys looked like you had a nice little party there going. Looked like it was a good time with the one releaser there.
yeah.
So,
Yeah,
that's
this is gonna
awesome.
be true indoor hydro, top of the line. I mean, best of the best on the some of the best stuff that you're gonna get
Nice.
on this planet. So we're pretty excited. And
Awesome.
Good
Awesome. Well, congratulations. If anything else comes up down in the future and you guys want to jump on, I'll be more than willing to have you help you promote any way I can. Also want to give a quick shout out to Mercy for setting all this up.
We love you, Mercy.
Really appreciate it. She's working with my buddy Neil, who he's down in Shakerton's down there.
Oh yeah, we are gonna be doing an event at Shakerton's for the draft party. We're gonna be vending there, so
Okay.
everybody in the Dallas area can come check out your friend Neil and
Yeah.
check out some ice cream paint job edibles.
Yeah, he's a Troy boy. So the Troy boy moved down to Texas a few years back. So yeah, he's a great guy. He's doing real well down there with the Shakerton. So definitely go down there and support them as well. And make sure to go to therogueshop.com and check them out and get all your products. Guys, I really appreciate your time. And once again, anything I can help you out with in the future, don't be afraid to reach out.
Same for you.
Follow Mercy on Instagram. Was it Mercy My Mercy?
Yep. Mercy My Mercy. Yep. Shout out Mercy. Really appreciate this.
To get some dots connected, she knows every and anybody. So
she really does. I look at her page and I'm like, wow, she's doing this. She's got a big boxing match, promoting a boxing match here. Promoting you guys there. I love it.
NFL players, rappers.
Yep. The hustle never stops.
Cheerleaders, everything.
And she still has
Mercy
time
My Mercy
to draw happy birthday on my card for me. So she's been we love her.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Well, it was great meeting you, Roger. Thank you so much for having us on the show. And we're gonna get you some goodies to try out there.
Oh, awesome. I appreciate it very much.
That way you can go and say this is the real deal.
Right. Then I can stand by it. Like I have a towel right here. It's the custom rag. I have this hanging up here. This guy hooked me up like a golf towel. Like say you go get a Nike golf towel, like a nice one. You're looking at $40-$50. This guy hooked me up with this just as free for a sample. And the quality, the material is better than any $40 to $50 Nike golf towel I would go buy it. Like the Nike ones are basically a Walmart towel with a swoosh on it. This has a scrubber on the back to clean your golf clubs, everything else. So I will promote him. He gives me nothing. But because of how good his quality material is, I'll promote him all day long. That's my man.
Well, we need to see more weed on the golf course.
Yeah.
All the alcoholics out there hating on weed on the golf course. Get out of here.
We were just talking about that my podcast the other night. You see guys, they got the high noons, some cases of high noons, this and that, White Claws and Bud Lights and Coors Lights, whatever. I'm out there with a joint. I'm getting side-eyed. I'm like, it's perfectly legal. I'm not bothering nobody. I try to keep it away from the people who don't want to be around me. Like I'm respectful.
Recovery too. See, like you're not gonna have a hangover tomorrow, and you're not going to be sore because you're taking care of all the things instead of drinking.
I don't know how many times I've been at a golf course and people are just pissed drunk.
Driving carts into ditches.
Tournaments are the worst. That's when they always get crazy at those tournaments. But
yeah, he had to drive somebody back to the clubhouse once because they were like in a ditch and they were like lost. And I could see the clubhouse from where we were. He was like, "Ma'am, why don't you let me escort you back to the
get you guys back there?
You might not make it on your own." So
all right, Roger, we appreciate it.
No, thank you guys so much. And I'll probably end up releasing this on Monday, first thing in the morning. So I'll tag you guys and everything else, and we'll get it up and running.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Take care,
guys. Thank you so much. Take care.